mainstream concerts nowadays are satanic rituals. And I say that having been to the weekend concerts 2 times now. And recently I've seen some clips of a Sabrina Carpenter concert of her doing some freaky stuff on stage, and that's when I realized, oh damn, like, are these what concerts are like nowadays? Because of that, then hell no, am I going to one ever again? Because these, as you all know, if you ever read the lyrics of mainstream songs nowadays, they're filled with such demonic, imagery and content, like sexual immorality, violence, just incel and misogynistic lyrics, like just a bunch of the worst stuff that you could be consuming. You could is contained in these songs, and I could go a whole hour just discussing, mainstream songs not like on the charts right now that are doing heavy numbers, but the but they are but the content within those songs are poisoning our youth and filling and kind of just brainwashing them to the world's perspective and the world's ideology, which worships Satan, not God. And after going to the weekend's concerts, not one but twice. I could definitely recall some moments from those concerts um, that were indeed pretty satanic. So before I get to those experiences, the weekend songs are very explicit. If you ever listen to one of his songs, a lot of his songs are about sex, drugs, and partying, essentially. If you listen to his first mixtape, the House of Balloons, then you know what I'm talking about, because that entire album is literally about, again, sex, drugs, partying, and a, and a lot of his songs after that, even his recent album, Until Tomorrow, has those same has that same topic and content within his songs, and it is not good for young people like me and children to be listening to. We as parents, we need to, as if as future parents and parents currently right now, we gotta make sure that our kids are not listening to this type of music, and making, because it could, music is powerful. It could change your mood like this. um you know have you if you ever experience a mood change from listening to a certain type of music, it's because of the sound waves change. They affect your mood. So if you're listening to rap, like drill or rap music with a lot of violence in it, then you're going to feel angry. If you're listening to like a Juice World song or a very depressing song, then you're going to feel a little bit sad. And if you're listening to a weekend song and it's talking about sex, then you're going to be feeling lustful. And at the concert, majority of the songs were about just that, about sex and about lusting over women. So, and when I looked into the crowd, I could see a lot of like sexual behavior going on. Like, people were grabbing their partners in inappropriate ways, and like some people were dry humping each other, and grabbing their private parts, and it's just like, oh whoa, like damn, like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing music influence human behavior in real time right now. Like this music with sexual lyrics is literally influencing the moods of everyone in the audience, and now they're acting out and they're being freaky, and there was a I saw a clip of another weekend concert where he started doing some freaky tongue movements with his tongue, and that looked very like very weird. And I thank the Lord that didn't happen at my concert. That could have been even more weird, than the weird stuff that was already going on. And I literally had to like pray like mid concert because of all the sexual things that were happening during that concert. And mind you, I brought a girl with me when I was at the concert. I wasn't alone. There was a girl with me that I invited to see this concert because I didn't want to go alone at the time. And bro, I was getting sexual thoughts like because of the music. Like this is not conspiracy. Like this is like music. This is legit. Music actually, you know, com- um, influences our moods and dictate and has a big influence on that. So it's no joke. You gotta, if you if you're a Christian like me, or you're trying to live a holy life, you gotta filter out the mainstream music that you used to listen to, because that type of music is going to bring you away from God and make you think, satanic things and sexual immorality than holy things. We gotta, we gotta keep our eyes and our mind clean, because that is where sexual immorality starts. Comes from the eyes, comes from our own thoughts, and then yeah. And just to prove you that the Weeknd, the Weeknd's songs are very sexual, I could literally read you the chorus of "One of the Girls" by The Weeknd. So it reads, you know, "Give me tough love, leave me with nothing when I'm down, my kind of love. Push me and choke me till I pass out. We don't gotta be in love, no. I don't gotta be the one, no. I just want to be one of your girls tonight." Well, yeah, I have no words for that. It just explains for itself. And what's even worse is Jennie's part from Blackpink. Her part's, is even worse. Like I hope she didn't write this, because I was a big Blackpink fan in high school. So this is definitely gonna make me a little sad that she has sold her soul. Not that K-pop idols are innocent or anything, but like to get into the mainstream, you gotta be a different kind of breed, you know. So it reads, "Push me down, hold me down, spit in my mouth while you turn me out. Tear me down, stuff me out, hands on my neck while you push it up." Yeah, yeah. I'm done reading that. That's just gross. Yeah, and another thing, like Blackpink, a lot of their image is very like focused on feminism and making women look strong, but then you have one of the members reading lyrics like that, like like as you can see, feminism is a sham. That's another video for a different day, but that's pretty hypocritical. Yeah, someone in Blackpink. And and another thing that was very weird about the concert was that there was a statue of a naked girl, a golden statue of a naked girl, and then there were people with red hoods circling that statue. So there was a literal satanic ritual going on at the beginning of the concert. Like, when I saw that, I was even a little bit creeped out. Like, maybe I should have, just left right then and there, because I knew what was gonna happen. But at the same time, I paid $100 to enter this concert. But again, I should have known better. But again, you got to be a fool to be wise, as it says in Proverbs. So now I know, never to go to a mainstream concert again. And if I go to a concert, it's got to be some legacy band or rock band, or some local act, like Guns N' Roses or something, where there's not going to be any sexual innuendos or any sexual content, featured in there. So, that's all I want to talk about today. And again, be careful on the music that you listen to, because it does have an effect on your life. Amen to that.